Welcome to All Things Social Security. Enjoy your video.
Good morning, afternoon, or evening. Let's talk about physical therapy and what those records can do for your case. I bring this up because, as some of you might know, I am a huge fan of physical therapy records. I know physical therapy is kind of a nightmare sometimes for people to go to. Some physical therapists are better than others, but I do find that the vast majority of the time, the records can be really, really telling. And the beauty of them is that you get 12, 18, 24, 36 sessions, separate days of observation by a professional with notes as to specifically your functioning, your strength, your pain level upon activity. It's can be really valuable. And to get that amount of professional observation of you put into a medical record, if it was your specialist doing it, the orthopedist that referred you to the PT, how long would it take to get 36 appointments? A couple decades, maybe. Do you know what I'm saying? So PT could be a wonderful way of filling in a gap, adding to what the orthopedist, or it could be a neurologist, or it could be a primary care. But you know me, I'm all about having all of the above. If you can feasibly get it, I think it makes for a stronger case, a better credentialed medical provider in the specific area that you have a problem with. Orthopedics, for instance, is, as I see it, of more weight than a family doctor or general practitioner. But they too are very valuable and necessary. So this came up because a wonderful viewer, thank you, Tyler, said, what did he say? I always invite people to, ask questions or throw in comments on any video they're watching. If a comment comes to their head about something else, Social Security, disability, or evidence related, or anything Social Security related, just so they don't forget it and they can get it in there, because I do get to all the comments. Not always the same day. Sometimes if they suddenly are hidden from me, I might not see them for a week. But so this one was actually found on a mental health video, but the person wanted me to make a video explaining why going to physical therapy hurts your claim. And of course, I couldn't do that, right? So his point was, and so I wanted to explain it after he learned that I love PT records, because we were interacting on the post on the comment section. And he said, but you lose disability if you improve. So if physical therapy serves its purpose, you'll lose your benefits. That is really not true in reality. I've never seen improvement from physical therapy for someone who's disabled cause them to lose their benefits or lose their camp claim. So let me explain further. I did give him a little blurb in the typed format on the comment section with him, but I wanted to share it to the rest of you. Physical therapy is supposed to get you to improve, and hopefully it will. Most people, well, I will say the people whose cases I take are disabled with impairments that I already know are not subject to improving enough to go back to work full time. It's after a complete analysis, of course. If you just were in an accident and you have some whiplash and you're going to go get physical therapy and you're not disabled from all 12,000 jobs for at least 12 months, of course, you're not going to win your case. But it's not because of the physical therapy. It's because you're not meeting the standard of definition required to get paid cash benefits under the SSD program or the SSI program. All right. So, of course, we hope PT causes improvement. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes people have to actually quit because it's hurting and it's not helping. Sometimes the referring doctor will pull them back from it, or they will complain to him and then he will do that. And some people just quit on their own. I don't recommend that way, but I do understand it if it's causing great pain, except that if you have not been communicating that pain well at the time to the physical therapist, then it's going to be your claim and nothing else. And knowing that people really abhor sometimes going to physical therapy, it's inconvenient, it doesn't feel good. Sometimes the physical therapist isn't really doing much on you and you're doing it all, and you really just want to have a better coach than that. But so if that happens, you definitely want to speak to speak to the issue with your doctor and have them officially cancel your PT is my recommendation. That being said, let's move on about this whole issue about when it could hurt you. If your PT renders you so improved that you can go back to work, assuming you were previously not in that vein of that likely happening, then isn't that a great thing? I mean, if you can have a far greater quality of life, far greater improvement, and go back to work, I mean, that is the goal, isn't it, of everybody, to be a healthier, viable, quality of life, self-sufficient contributor to one's own needs of sustaining themselves, right? And their families. Of course. In experience, physical therapy records are great for what they provide. When someone is truly with a permanent type of impairment, they can help him feel better. Sometimes it's something they have to do periodically, but rarely do I see in a case that's truly disabled, if ever have I seen physical therapy do the job of making them improved enough to be able to do a job that they are held accountable for doing under the Social Security disability rules. And what jobs that entails will depend on if they're over 50 and under 50, whether or not they have some of the applicable medical vocational rules that they can rely on also, because that does carve out a whole section of jobs irrespective of some of that improvement. Remember, mere improvement doesn't mean you can go back and do all those jobs that you're held accountable for. It just means you're improved somewhat. Sometimes it'll be a 5% improvement. That doesn't mean that that puts in any jobs, right? So I stand by it, guys. Physical therapy records are really, really helpful. And I have people that have, they've had some physical therapy on their lumbar. They've also had physical therapy separately, sometimes at the same time, but on different days. It's kind of weird, but sometimes it's like a 3-month course of lumbar, and then 3 months later, they start one for cervical because they have these really kind of up and down problems with their spine, as confirmed by their specialists. The records are invaluable. Not only do they show that you're still having a problem, whereas if you had that whole 6 months or 8 months without a doctor visit, because the doctor only gives you an appointment every 8 months, that, say the orthopedist, then what are you going to have in between to show that it still continues? You're going to have nothing. So I suggest you consider physical therapy in a positive light from a legal perspective. Obviously, it's positive, generally speaking, from a medical perspective, but I'm talking only legal here because that's the only kind of expertise I have. So I'll leave the medical findings to the medical experts. So thank you again, Tyler, for bringing that up, because I'm always babbling about physical therapy. You should see my clients. They roll their eyes at me. I think they are anyway. I don't really see them. I just message with them, and I could feel the verbal. Every time I nag them about physical therapy, it might be my paranoia, but I sense a little eye roll, like, here she goes again. But anyway, it's my job, so I keep on my people. Anyway, you guys, I don't know when this is coming out. We are heading into Christmas, and I hope you're all having a wonderful Christmas season. And if I don't know, if you get this after the new year, I hope your new year is going to be fabulous and all good things for all of you. God bless.